Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's premium review in which we are taking a look at the German BF 109Z, sitting at 4.7 battle rating in both realistic battle and in arcade. This plane has been long awaited and has been long asked for by the community to Gaijin, and it's finally here. The Zwilling, or however you say that, the BF-109, just like the Twin Mustang, is a plane that we can now finally fly out in the game. And quite a plane it is. It has some good upsides, but it also has downsides, of course. Let's go into her. The maximum speed in this plane at sea level without WEP is 554 kilometers an hour, and with WEP 572 kilometers an hour. At 4500 meters this is 520 without WEP and 535 with WEP. And finally at 6500 meters it's 488 kilometers an hour without WEP and 505 kilometers an hour with WEP. That is fantastic maximum speed. Here we go for an approach on this P-47. We are approaching very well, but our aim is off here. And we missed the shot, and that is something you definitely don't want to do in the BF-109Z, because making the actual approach is the trick in this plane, and it takes a little bit of time to set an attack up, and resetting the attack is difficult with the maneuverability of this plane. Once you have a good run on a plane, you actually have to hit him, because you don't get that many opportunities to get him in your sights again and to stay safe yourself. This combination is very important, and that is why this is a plane where you don't have regular aces in, most likely. Of course there will be people in the comments that say, but actually Jengar, I had 7 kills in this plane and it was magnificent, and I had 5 kills after that, and of course that is not the regular performance of this plane. It is gonna take time to set up attacks, and when you make the attack runs you have to hit your targets, because resetting on that target and getting him in your sights again while having a clean shot is difficult in this plane. Let me say that, but I have enjoyed my fly out in this plane, and it's very fast plane, a very enjoyable plane, an energy fighter and a boom and zoomer. Although you don't want to make very long attack runs, but we'll get into that. The top speed in a dive in this plane is 751 kilometers an hour before it redlines, and 825 kilometers an hour before it rips apart. Now that is decent to good speed in a dive, I would say. This battle rating 4.7, there is many fast planes to face. You know, for example, the Thunderbolts sit at this battle rating as well. They are also very fast in a dive, but this plane is decently fast in a dive. Control stiffening though starts already at 550 kilometers an hour, and it becomes severe at 650 kilometers an hour. So you will not, for example, be able to compete against the Thunderbolt in a dive when he's behind you or when you are behind him. You cannot keep up in the roll rate, and when you miss your initial shot, you try to roll with a target. You often notice that you cannot compete in the roll rate because of the control stiffening in the plane. The roll rate in this plane isn't good to start with, so you are going to have troubles. Here we go for a decent shot on the P-51, who was hoping to run away from me. But yeah, the control stiffening in this plane and the handling in the dive is not good enough to actually adjust your shots while you're in the dive. We get 2 kills in that match. Stall speed in the plane is 160 kilometers an hour, which is quite nice for such a big plane. And then we come to the firepower in the plane. The firepower in the plane is excellent. You have 4 30mm Mk108 cannons with 65 rounds per gun. Now the 65 rounds doesn't seem fantastic in the amount of ammo you have for each gun, but of course the Mark 108 are slow firing and have a low velocity, and you take a while before you run through the 65 rounds. You can compare it with 120 rounds in a 20mm, I would say, more or less. So the rounds will feel not like 65 rounds in general. I used a 600 meter convergence in these matches, and I used air target belts. Or actually not, I use universal. You don't have air target belts in 30mm. Here we go. We get a critical hit on him. And the force of my 30s forced him into a stall. Fantastic. So he's a dead man. But unfortunately, the target gets killed by somebody else. He stole my kill. Bloody hell. He wasn't on fire though, so that guy, if he wasn't aware that he was stalling, well, I forgive him, let's say that. Let's go for the P47 and get him. That was nice. Evaporate him. Once you get these four guns on a target, they evaporate. The firepower is excellent. The ammo load is average. You can also load one 250 kilogram bomb on this plane, although I wouldn't know why you want to do that, because the climb rate on this plane is excellent and I would not want to impede that in any situation. The acceleration in this plane in a straight line is very good, and in a dive it's good. Energy retention in the horizontal is decent, so it holds its energy decently well in a straight line once you come out of a dive. And in the vertical it's excellent. This plane has excellent energy retention in the vertical. The engines together work really well, and the climb rate supports that very well with excellent climb rate as well. So this plane is very good in the vertical, and with its stall speed of 160 it can do magnificent moves in the vertical. The turn time in this plane though is bad, and if you use the flaps, below average. The flaps do rip off at 510 kilometers an hour, which is already above the maximum speeds in this plane in general, which lie on most altitudes, mid to low, above 500 kilometers an hour. So be careful with those flaps. The roll rate in this plane is bad when it's slow and average when it's fast. Overall maneuverability in this plane is bad, especially compared to the single engine fighters. And against some attackers it is also, well, you have to be careful, let's say. You have to use this plane as an energy fighter or pure boom and zoomer. But there is some downsides to the energy fighting, because it cannot maneuver very quickly in rolling and adjusting, or rolling over from your peak in your vertical maneuver. It's not that fast in that. So it's good in the energy retention and the energy fighting itself, but it is a bit sluggish in the rolling, so you have to adjust for that. There is very bad overheating in this plane. The plane is fast to overheat, but it does cool decently quickly as well, although it overheats very quickly again after that, and you're just constantly busy with the overheating. In AB of course that's not a problem, so there is that, and the control stiffening is less of a problem in AB as well, so this plane is much better in AB in my experience than in RB in the vertical maneuvers, for example, and thus performs much better in AB. Durability in the plane is decent. It can take a hit or two, and yeah, I have no complaints about the durability overall. The plane is sluggish below 300 kilometers an hour, but when it is above 300 kilometers an hour it is quite good, especially above 400 kilometers an hour. Like I said, I used this plane as an energy fighter slash boom and zoomer, starting from the boom and zoom roll and transitioning into energy fighting if I had to. The plane is excellent in vertical maneuvers, but you do have to be aware, like here you see, even in AB, I cannot keep up in the roll rate of this guy, and yeah, you want to not get lured into that, because you're gonna pull very hard G's and you're gonna lose energy quicker than most smaller fighters, let's say. And after that, with the smaller fighters' maneuverability being superior to yours, you are gonna bite the dust. So if a plane starts rolling in the dive and you notice after the first two rolls you cannot keep him in your sights, then just count that encounter as a missed shot, let's say, and reset for another attack run, even though that is difficult because of this plane's time that it needs to get back on the target, especially against smaller, more nimble targets. But oh well, don't get greedy for the kill, because it will mean your death in this plane. It is not good in dogfighting as you might imagine. The guns though are very lethal. and I've had some very fun experiences with these guns. I think they have been improved quite a bit, and they are very joyous to fly with right now. Boom, baby. That was a nice kill, but yeah, excellent. I quite enjoyed this plane, but the danger is that you are gonna treat this plane like a regular 109, and you'll quickly find where the differences lie with this plane compared to the single engined fighters. They of course are much more nimble, quicker in the turn and the rolling in your vertical maneuvers and stuff like that. So you absolutely have to take that into account, and once you do, this plane will perform for you. Absolutely. Once I started learning what this plane did, you often get into 2-kill matches, and 1-kill matches are the norm, let's say. I have not flown the plane enough to get 3 or 4-kill matches in this thing, because well, you know, you run to the downsides of the ammo load and the time you need to reset. With everybody and their sister flying Germans right now, there's a lot of skilled pilots in the German planes right now, testing out the TAS, just testing out the Focke-Wulf 190's new flight model and stuff like that. The German teams are quite strong right now. So by the time I had actually reset on a third target, for example, then already the match was basically over, and somebody else came in, get that kill, and or for example you get the crit and the plane is in the stall and somebody else get that kill. Otherwise I would have had better results already in this plane. But in AB I've had some wonderful results already. I'm 21 kills against 0 deaths in 3 matches, I believe, or 3 or 4 matches, I don't remember. But it went very well. You don't necessarily have to die very often. Let's take a look. Final blow, Terror of the Sky, bulletproof and on hand, 72,000 Silver Lions and almost 8,000 research points. We got first place in the team. Hi guys, I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Yeah, so enjoyable plane. This plane is super brutal in arcade, as the flight model differences there are especially improving the downsides of this plane in RB, like the slow roll, the difficult turnover when you come in the vertical and you try to pull your nose towards the enemy plane that's coming up for you, and top speed in a dive and roll rate there, handling in a dive. In AB these things are all much improved, and thus this plane is superb in AB, but I still find it to be a good to very good plane in RB because of the plane's energy fighting capability and boom and zooming. And yeah, I've had a blast in the plane, I have to say. The firepower is good, so you have to be a little bit trigger patient in this plane because you only have 65 rounds per gun. Sometimes you get back to the airfield and you know, the rest of the match runs out without you. But overall, you know, it's not a turn fighter and all that jazz, but and there is a little bit of overheating to take into account. Very bad. But once you manage it, you're just busy with it more often than in the average plane, let's say. But it's still manageable, although it's very bad, I would say. Excellent energy fighter, boom zoomer, great guns, good damage on them in this patch. So yeah, definitely a plane to get. This is a joyous plane to fly, I would say. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.